Have you ever felt unmotivated or stuck when facing a big challenge? Maybe you've wondered how some people manage to stay calm and focused even in the toughest moments. The truth is, the key to a fuller and more balanced life isn't in avoiding obstacles, but in how we choose to face them. Let's explore how these 12 principles can change your perspective on challenges, success, and personal growth. From cultivating essential qualities like courage, persistence, and kindness, to learning how to see every difficulty as an opportunity for growth, you'll discover how to adopt a stronger, more resilient, and authentic mindset. Share a phrase in the comments that can transform your everyday life. I am capable of growing with every challenge. We'll talk about how to value the process of continuous learning, the importance of respecting our limits and priorities, and how all of this can lead to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. If you're ready to shift your perspective and reach new heights of personal development, stay with us until the end. Secret 1. Cultivating essential qualities: courage, persistence, kindness, and aligning actions with values and principles. Imagine you're facing a major challenge in life, a decision that requires a leap of faith, something that takes courage to make, but could lead to great rewards or failures. This is where courage comes in, the first of the pillars that support the journey of anyone seeking to stay true to their values and principles. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act even when fear is present. A good example of this can be seen in the life of Nelson Mandela. He was imprisoned for 27 years while fighting against apartheid in South Africa, a brutal system of racial segregation. During his years in prison, Mandela didn't let fear or anger control him. His courage was driven by a greater ideal: freedom and justice for his people. He stood firm in his beliefs without giving in to external or internal pressure. Upon his release, he didn't seek revenge, but reconciliation, which took even more courage. Persistence, in turn, is the fuel that keeps a person moving forward, even when the obstacles seem insurmountable. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus teaches us that difficulties are inevitable, but our response to them is in our control. He said, "It's not what happens to us that disturbs us, but our opinions about it." So persistence doesn't just mean resisting failure, but continuing to fight when the world seems to tell us otherwise. Lastly, kindness. This quality not only smooths interactions with others, but also reminds us to be compassionate with ourselves. The Stoic Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on human nature and how others are frequently flawed, just like us. Being kind to others, especially during tough times, is a way of maintaining integrity and living according to our highest principles. When we align our courage, persistence, and kindness with our deepest values, we create an inner harmony that guides us through life's path, no matter how tough it may be. Secret 2. Learning from mistakes and being resilient when facing obstacles as opportunities for growth. Making mistakes is an inevitable part of life, and how we deal with them can determine our success. Resilience is a skill that allows us to rise after each failure, stronger and more prepared for future challenges. Resisting failure isn't a sign of weakness or lack of ability, but one of the most powerful ways to grow personally. In Stoic philosophy, one of the greatest examples of resilience is the life of Seneca, the great Roman philosopher. In one of his letters, he shares his own personal struggles, including his banishment and family troubles. Instead of succumbing to despair, he used these adversities as tools for self-improvement. He believed that there is no progress without difficulties. He saw life's struggles as a test of the soul, an opportunity to prove one's virtue and grow in the face of challenges. The key to turning mistakes into opportunities for growth lies in how we choose to react to them. Take Thomas Edison, the inventor of the electric light bulb, for example. He failed thousands of times before finding the right combination of materials for his invention. When asked about failure, he replied, "I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." For Edison, every mistake was an opportunity to learn more about what didn't work, bringing him closer to the discovery that would change the world. Resilience is the process of recognizing that falling down is an essential part of the journey. When we face obstacles, they aren't signs that we're on the wrong path, but tests we must face. It's our ability to learn from mistakes, adjust our sails, and move forward that strengthens us. True failure doesn't come when we fall, but when we give up trying. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, difficulty comes from what we think is hard. If we accept things as they are, our suffering lessens. So being resilient doesn't mean ignoring mistakes or failing without pain, but accepting that each mistake is an opportunity for growth. Every failure carries with it the seed of a lesson that, if well understood, can make us more prepared for the next step, stronger for the next obstacle. Like gold, which is purified only through fire, true personal growth comes when we can extract lessons from the hardest moments. Secret 3. See obstacles as the path and practice shifting your perspective in the face of challenges. In life, we often view obstacles as something standing between us and our goal, as if they were an impenetrable wall. However, true masters of personal growth know that obstacles aren't just barriers, they're part of the very path we need to walk. The way we see these difficulties can make all the difference in our journey. A clear lesson on this can be drawn from the story of the famous Stoic philosopher Seneca, who went through times of great challenges and adversity. In one of his writings, he talked about how he tried to see life's difficulties as a kind of training for the soul. He believed that obstacles, far from being a curse, were a way to strengthen virtue and inner wisdom. When we view obstacles this way, as natural tests to make us stronger, they stop being just challenges and become opportunities to sharpen our patience, intelligence, and courage. A practical example of this is the story of Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist and survivor of Nazi concentration camps. During his imprisonment, Frankl faced unimaginable suffering and loss. However, he realized that by changing his perspective on what was happening, he could find meaning even in the most cruel situations. He proposed the idea that by deciding how to respond to a situation, a person could transform even the biggest obstacles into an opportunity for spiritual growth. He didn't see his imprisonment as something that separated him from freedom, but as a way to test and refine his inner freedom. Therefore, by practicing perspective shifting, we learn to see obstacles as part of the path itself, as the furnace where our virtues are refined. Every challenge, no matter how tough, can be an opportunity to sharpen our skills, adjust our behavior, and discover strengths we didn't know we had. The obstacle doesn't separate us from the goal. It is the very means of reaching it, teaching us to walk with more wisdom. Secret 4. Break big goals into smaller steps and value the process, not just the end result. When we think about big goals, we often feel intimidated by the enormity of the task ahead. The vision of a huge dream can cause anxiety, like a massive mountain that seems impossible to climb. However, the key to turning these big goals into something achievable lies in breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps. This approach, found in many life philosophies, helps create clear focus and keeps motivation high by allowing us to see daily progress. A powerful analogy comes from the archetype of the cathedral builder. During the Middle Ages, workers who built large Christian cathedrals didn't see the project as something to finish soon, but as a task that could take generations. Each worker had a small but essential part of the job to do. They weren't building the cathedral itself, but each block, each detail that made it up. By focusing on the daily work, these builders created some of the most impressive works of art in human history, one stone at a time. The same concept can be applied to everyday life. In a modern context, if someone wants to write a book, for example, the idea of writing hundreds of pages might seem overwhelming. But if the goal is broken down into daily tasks, like writing 500 words a day, the process becomes much more manageable. Every small win along the way, every page written, brings a sense of accomplishment and gets the goal closer to being achieved. In the end, what matters is not just reaching the final result, but what is learned along the way. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "We don't become good by reaching the destination, but by the journey we take." Valuing the process also means being aware that true satisfaction lies in the journey. Often, the final result isn't as important as the learning, growth, and experiences gained along the way. By focusing on the quality of the steps in the process, instead of fixating only on the end, we ensure that the journey itself is equally rewarding and enriching. Secret 5. Redefine success as the development of virtues and reflect on values to build a strong character. For many, success is measured by external standards like wealth, status, or tangible achievements. However, these external metrics can be hollow if they aren't aligned with a deeper purpose and internal values. Redefining success not just as a set of material goals, but as the development of virtues and the building of a strong character changes the way we live entirely. The story of Socrates, the Greek philosopher, offers a powerful lesson in this regard. Socrates didn't care about wealth or public recognition. His goal was the pursuit of wisdom and self-knowledge. He believed that true wealth was in virtue, not in material possessions. His life exemplifies that success isn't about having, but about being. Socrates taught that the most important thing wasn't achieving power or fame, but cultivating virtues that make us better human beings, such as honesty, justice, and humility. Similarly, many philosophical and spiritual traditions around the world, including Stoicism, teach that true success lies in developing character. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius believed that a person's wealth was measured by their ability to maintain integrity, stay calm in adversity, and practice virtue in all actions. For them, external achievements weren't a reflection of success. What really matters is how we behave in the face of life's challenges and how we cultivate our internal virtues. Redefining success this way doesn't mean abandoning material goals, but rather putting them into perspective. Success becomes a journey of continuous improvement, where the true wealth is becoming the best version of yourself. Reflecting on our values and acting in alignment with them not only strengthens our character, but allows us to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. After all, as Aristotle said, the goal of life is eudaimonia, which can be translated as a flourishing life of virtue, where internal development is more valuable than any external achievement. Secret 6. Free yourself from the need for external approval and focus on what truly matters. The relentless pursuit of approval from others can be one of the biggest obstacles to a fulfilling life. From an early age, we are taught to seek recognition in all areas of life. Grades in school, professional success, personal relationships. However, this constant search for validation often prevents us from living authentically and in alignment with our own values. When we free ourselves from the need for approval, we create space for a life that is more true to who we are and connected to what really matters. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus teaches that true freedom lies in not depending on others' opinions. He said, "If you want to be rich, don't seek wealth. Seek freedom and control over your own life." This concept goes beyond the pursuit of status or social recognition. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of external expectations and choosing to live by your own principles and goals. A modern example of this idea can be seen in the story of author J.K. Rowling. When she started writing the Harry Potter series, she faced numerous rejections from publishers and negative criticism. But instead of being discouraged by others' opinions, she stayed true to her vision and values. Her decision to write a book that she believed was important for children, without worrying about what the world thought, led to one of the most beloved and successful works of modern literature. Rowling's story exemplifies the power of freeing yourself from the need for external approval and walking your own path with courage and confidence. When we focus on what truly matters, self-knowledge, well-being, and personal fulfillment, external validation loses its power. Others' approval stops being a necessity, and we begin to make decisions based on our own values, giving us a sense of freedom and authenticity. The process of living more genuinely, without the pressure to please everyone, allows us to connect with our true essence and live in harmony with what is essential. Secret 7. Saying no clearly, respecting boundaries and affirming our priorities. Saying no can be one of the hardest things to do, especially when we want to please others or avoid conflict. However, this skill is essential for preserving our boundaries and affirming our priorities. By learning to say no clearly and respectfully, we create a healthy space for our own choices and needs. The Stoic philosopher Seneca has an interesting view on the importance of respecting our own limits. He said, "Life is not short, but we make it short by wasting time on things that don't matter." Often, we spend energy on external demands that aren't aligned with our values and goals. Learning to say no is a way to affirm our priorities and ensure we're dedicating our time and resources to what truly matters. A practical example of this can be seen in Steve Jobs' life. During his leadership at Apple, he was known for his ability to say no to ideas, projects, and even people that weren't aligned with the company's vision. Jobs believed that by focusing on what really mattered, he could lead Apple to achieve extraordinary goals. His focus and discipline in saying no allowed him to create an empire of innovation and excellence. Saying no clearly doesn't mean being inflexible or insensitive. It's about setting healthy boundaries that respect our own time and energy, allowing us to invest in the things that really make a difference. By practicing this, we become more assertive and mindful of our choices, which helps us maintain control over our lives and live in a more balanced way. Secret 8. Focus on what's in your control and let go of what you can't control. Life is full of factors beyond our control, from external conditions to the actions of others. However, true power lies in focusing on what we can control: our actions, thoughts, and attitudes. By concentrating our energy on only what's within our control, we can cultivate a sense of effectiveness and inner peace, while freeing ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that come when we try to control the uncontrollable. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not over events, but you can choose how to react." He reminds us that, while external circumstances may be challenging, how we respond to them is what really matters. If we focus on our attitudes and responses, instead of trying to shape the world to our will, we can find peace and clarity no matter the situation. A modern example of this idea can be seen in the story of Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani activist and Nobel Peace Prize winner. Malala couldn't control the oppressive regime in her country or the violence she faced, but she could control how she responded. She chose to stand up for girls' education, and through her courage and resilience, made a huge global impact. By focusing on what she could change, even in the face of great adversity, Malala became a symbol of strength and transformation. Letting go of what we can't control isn't resignation or passivity. It's a way of living with more serenity. When we accept circumstances we can't change and focus on the actions and decisions that are within our control, we gain more confidence in the process of life and the ability to handle challenges more effectively. Secret 9. Develop self-awareness and trust your own decisions. Self-awareness is a key skill for balanced living and personal development. When we become more aware of our emotions, motivations, and behaviors, we can act more intentionally and in alignment with our values. This allows us to make wiser decisions and, above all, trust our choices. The Greek philosopher Socrates emphasized the importance of knowing yourself in his conversations with his students. He believed that self-knowledge is the foundation of any virtuous action. When we are clear about what motivates us, what we truly desire, and what's important to us, we can make decisions that reflect our true essence. Trusting our decisions comes from this self-understanding. When we know what we want and understand why we make our choices, we can make decisions with greater clarity and confidence. This can be seen in the story of Oprah Winfrey, who faced many difficulties and criticisms throughout her career. However, she always trusted her intuition and her deep knowledge of herself. Her ability to make decisions aligned with her values and vision has made her one of the world's most influential personalities. Developing self-awareness and trusting our decisions doesn't mean being infallible or never making mistakes, but rather knowing that our choices come from a deep understanding of who we are. Confidence is built from this awareness, and the more we know ourselves, the more capable we are of making decisions that truly lead us to the life we want. Secret 10. Learning to see challenges as drivers of personal growth. In a world where we often seek comfort and stability, challenges are often seen as something undesirable, something to avoid. However, when we change our perception of them, challenges can become powerful drivers of personal growth. They force us to confront our limitations, explore new possibilities, and reinvent ourselves. Instead of viewing them as insurmountable obstacles, we can see them as hidden opportunities, chances to expand our skills, develop resilience, and strengthen our character. Stoic philosophy teaches us that it's not the challenge itself, but our reaction to it that defines our growth. Seneca, for example, said, "Difficulties test us and shape us." He believed that without these tests, we wouldn't be able to develop our true inner strength. Similarly, the great leader and activist Nelson Mandela faced immense challenges throughout his life, including his long imprisonment during apartheid. Rather than letting himself be defeated, Mandela used this time to strengthen his spirit, learn more about forgiveness, and refine his vision of justice. He saw each difficulty as a stepping stone for personal evolution and ultimately for the transformation of a nation. Facing challenges this way allows us not only to survive them, but to thrive. Every difficulty teaches us something new about ourselves and prepares us to face the next with more wisdom and confidence. Instead of resisting what is challenging, we can begin to accept it as part of the process of becoming stronger and more capable versions of ourselves. Secret 11. Valuing continuous growth and learning in all situations. Personal growth is not a straight line, but a journey full of ups and downs, successes and failures. Every situation, every moment offers an opportunity to learn something new, whether through a victory or a mistake. A mindset of continuous learning allows us not only to survive difficulties, but to extract lessons from them that empower us for the future. In his famous Meditations, Marcus Aurelius reflected on how even mistakes are a form of learning. He said, "What happens to us is an opportunity to show our skill." This reflects a key idea in Stoicism. Everything that happens in life, whether good or bad, is a chance to evolve, to improve our ability to handle situations and to act according to our virtues. This concept is exemplified in the story of Thomas Edison, whose persistence in the face of failure led to inventions that changed the world. By trying hundreds of times before finally developing the electric light bulb, Edison didn't see each failure as a mistake, but as an opportunity to learn and refine his technique. His vision was that learning never ends, and that true growth happens when we continue to seek knowledge and experience, regardless of immediate success. Valuing continuous learning is embracing the idea that personal growth is never complete. Every day brings a new chance to reflect, improve, and expand our horizons. Instead of seeing difficulties as something to avoid, we start to see them as the best opportunities to gain more wisdom and experience. Secret 12. Facing life with calmness, practicing virtue and resilience. Life is unpredictable and often places us in difficult situations. However, calmness does not come from the absence of difficulties, but from the ability to face them with serenity and resilience. Those who practice virtue and resilience know that true strength is not shown in moments of comfort, but in the ability to remain firm and balanced during storms. Stoic philosophy places great emphasis on the importance of virtue, which is living according to reason and ethical principles, no matter the circumstances. Epictetus taught, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." This means that by changing our perspective and acting with virtue, we can maintain our inner calm, even when the world around us is in chaos. A remarkable example of calmness in the face of adversity is the story of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and survivor of Nazi concentration camps. During his extreme experience, Frankl realized that even in the face of the most intense hardships, he still had the power to choose his attitude. He wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Frankl practiced resilience not only physically, but also mentally and emotionally, maintaining inner peace even in the face of death and suffering. The practice of virtue and resilience helps us cultivate a peace that doesn't depend on external conditions. Calmness comes from within, from the ability to accept what we cannot change and act according to our virtues, no matter the circumstances. When we stay firm and virtuous, even in the most challenging situations, serenity and resilience become our greatest strengths, allowing us to face life with a more resilient and balanced outlook. Thank you for watching. I hope the 12 principles we've explored have inspired you to view life's challenges with a new perspective and take the next steps toward continuous growth. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and leave a comment below. I'd love to know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe now to stay updated on content that can help you live with more clarity, purpose, and confidence. Also, activate notifications to stay on top of all the new updates. Remember, the path to success starts with the first step, and you're already on the right track. See you in the next video.